Coming up on Cardinals Insider.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's exciting for all the guys that are coming up right now. And for me personally, I'm just going out every day and trying to enjoy every single second of it.
With debut after debut, Cardinal rookies are making 2020 a special year. Plus,
it's hard to fathom, to be honest. I mean, where I came from and having started where I started to get to this point and to have this opportunity, it's something I cherish.
Hear from Matt Carpenter, who just keeps hitting with the bases loaded. And later,
interesting, Fredbird ironing his uniform in Big Mac land.
What is Fredbird up to during games? Find out. Welcome to Cardinals Insider. I'm your host, Ozzie Smith. 2020 baseball has felt like a sprint for some, but for our rookies, it's a special year they will never forget. Making your major league debut with no fans in the stands is definitely an odd feeling, but knowing your family and Cardinals nations are all cheering for you from their home is still an amazing accomplishment. Let's hear from some of our rookies about their big day.
Debut after debut, the 2020 baseball season may feel closed off, but it's opening its doors for many young Cardinal rookies.
Dylan Carlson with his first major league hit. It's a double.
And it's been, everything you could dream of. Pretty much, the other day they told me I was coming up here, and I had to drive from Springfield to St. Louis, and then, got to ride the bus with the team, and to see that uniform, it was real special.
There it is.
Since fans are not allowed in the ballpark this season, players' families celebrated the historic debuts from their homes. 13 debuts, to be exact.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's exciting for all the guys that are coming up right now. And for me personally, I'm just going out every day and trying to enjoy every single second of it. I mean, it's weird circumstances, but it's still baseball. I'm still trying to have as much fun as I can.
When we saw Max, we all jumped up and screamed and started calling everyone, friends, family, everyone, and saying, "Oh my God, Max is starting! You have to watch or buy MLB. I don't care." And it was just, oh my gosh, it was so. It gives me chills thinking about it right now, actually, because just in that moment, I knew everything that he has worked for since high school came true, and it was just it was unbelievable.
The thing that really sticks out is just that you've watched your son work so hard and pursue this, and it's been his dream for years and years and years, and then you get to see it come true.
And that's well hit.
Making your debut is a milestone, but nothing compares to your first big league home run.
The first major league home run.
And when did Max Schrock first dream of hitting one of those? Well,
probably when I found out when the big leagues was. So it was a pretty exciting night.
Watching him do that was just unbelievable. We were home. It was quiet, and my dad doesn't scream, and my dad jumped up and screamed. He was just so excited for him. I mean, it was just smiles, just ear to ear, just unbelievable.
Schrock, his first major league home run.
That is exciting right there.
That was extremely sweet of Dex, and the whole story of him going out there to get the home run ball. The ball authenticator was out there trying to get the ball, and Dex said, "No, this is my second time out here. I am getting this ball," which was just awesome. It was another really, really great story. I said, Max has just, from his short time with the Cardinals, so many memories.
Looking back, 2020 will be a special season, not only for the players, but their biggest fans too. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Emily Stevens.
When the bases are loaded, Matt Carpenter knows how to hit under pressure. Carp ended August with the most RBIs of any Cardinal, and this season, he's continued padding his average with the bases loaded. That's why he's the subject of this week's Player Profile.
When the bases are loaded, Matt Carpenter is at his best.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. Hit deep. Center field. It might go. It's a slam! Carpenter's first home run of the season. 4 batters up for the Cardinals. 4 runs in the opening game of the doubleheader at Wrigley Field.
You're constantly, working to continue to try to be the best player you can be, and I'm not sure you've ever feel like you've ever arrived.
His August 19th slam at Wrigley Field was only the second of his career, but overall, Carp has been fantastic with the sacks jammed. As of mid-September, he's a .491 hitter in such situations, and when he connects, it's likely going for extra bases. With nowhere to put him and 2 out, he's slugging .464. It's up to .750 with 1 away, and a staggering 1,667 slug with none out. But they don't have to be loaded for him to come through.
A swing and a high fly ball, hit deep right center field to the track, and it is off the base of the wall. 2 runs are going to score on a 2-out double by Matt Carpenter.
He owns a .280 average and a .452 slug in high leverage situations. In fact, during the course of his 10 years in the league, Carpenter has hit .287 with runners in scoring position and owns a .472 slugging percentage when there's a chance to drive home a run. Of course, all this has been done with the Cards, something that means a lot to Carpenter.
I mean, it's something that really you can't even, it's hard to fathom, to be honest. I mean, having where I came from and having started where I started to get to this point and to have this opportunity, it's something I share.
Carpenter, a drive into deep right. Do it with an exclamation point. Grand slam!
When it matters most, it's a matter of fact that number 13 has come through at a historic rate. Fun for fans and teammates alike. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
Straight ahead on Cardinals Insider.
John Brabia making his major league debut.
I was called into the coach's office, and they sat me down and said that I was going to go meet the team in Colorado, and that was really special.
Players talk about their call-ups to the big leagues. Getting the call to the big leagues is a huge moment in a player's life, and it's a memory that lasts a lifetime. It's time for part 4 of our series on making it to the show.
John Brabia making his major league debut.
I was called into the coach's office after a game that we were playing out in California, and Stubby was there, and our pitching coach at the time, Brian Ebersgerd, who's now in the bullpen at St. Louis, and they sat me down and said that I was going to go meet the team in Colorado, and that was really special.
And the 2-2. Fly ball out to left. Tommy Pham is there. You made it to the big leagues.
My story, I was in Lakeland, Florida. I got called in the manager's office on probably August 28th or something like that, and got told to pack my bags, and I was on a flight to New York. So pretty exciting. Obviously knew a dream of mine was coming true, and really special moment. And I think I left a bunch of money for the guys to order some chicken wings or something in the clubhouse, and got out of there and started this journey.
Manager just asked to talk to me, before a game. I was like, did I do something wrong, like, is he come, and he just kind of started off that way, and then, told me I was going to the big leagues, and I think I was on a flight in a couple hours after that, so it was pretty cool. Just thinking about all the times, like, my dad threw to me late, and just, kind of getting to that point after so many years, and going through the minor leagues, it's just kind of cool thinking back. You really appreciate the people who kind of helped you get there,
When I got called up, I was in Memphis, and the season had just ended. I was hoping I'd get called up. Wasn't sure. I'd had a pretty good year, but some guys that went up and down, and I was there the whole season. But the season ended, and the manager, Maloney, called me in, Hammer, and was like, "Hey, you going to big leagues?" And that's something that you dream about your whole life, or especially I did. So to be able to hear that news, go call, my parents, my family, and I think it somehow came out on some form of social media before the game was even over, so I think everyone else knew that I was getting called up before I did. So, but it was still a pretty cool, you know, experience. Like I said, to be able to get called up and, you know, be able to live out your dream was pretty awesome.
Well, I kind of figured that something was going on. You know, the big league team had been playing a couple extra inning games, you know, a couple nights in a row. I was in Memphis. I was supposed to pitch on like a Friday, and then they told me on Wednesday, hey, you're not going to pitch Friday, you're going to pitch Saturday. And then on Thursday, they were like, hey, you're not going to pitch Saturday, you're going to pitch Sunday. And, you know, from being in the minor leagues long enough, typically, you know what that means, like something's coming, you know, they're just trying to hold off. And then, you know, finally after the Friday game, when we got into the clubhouse, Stubby came and got me and was like, hey, you're going to go tomorrow morning.
The first strikeout in the career of Austin Gomber. Congratulations.
You know, obviously extremely exciting. You know, it's kind of tough to put into words, really.
I was in AAA and playing in Tacoma for the Memphis Redbirds. And it was the middle of the game. And I just remember being called back into the dugout. And the manager, Danny Schaefer, said, hey, we're going to let the other guys play for a little bit. You've been playing a lot. And I thought that was kind of odd. And so I sat down on the bench and started to take the tape off my fingers, and he walked to the end and came back. And he said, pack your stuff, you're going to the big leagues. So I grabbed everything that I had. I ran to the clubhouse and high-fived the bullpen as I went by and grabbed a red-eye flight to Milwaukee.
You know, I was sitting having breakfast with my wife. I was in AA in Mobile, Alabama, and phone rings and it's the manager, and I'm figuring we're going to go have to do some early work. I show up and it's 105 degrees, but he tells me they're calling you up, and I asked him, you know, AAA. He goes, no, you're going to the big leagues. So obviously I was very excited and ran to the ballpark and got all my stuff, and I was really scared I was going to miss my flight, and that'd be my one opportunity to play in the big leagues. So I basically went to the airport and sat there for 4 to 6 hours and had to fly from Alabama through Houston to San Francisco, and our plane actually got struck by lightning. Just kind of a crazy thing. As we were flying, a big storm came in, and you know, we got delayed, and I mean, just the typical thing that you'd expect. And but got to San Fran, and all my family was able to get there, and my wife, and get settled, and able to play that game the next day, and you know, got to hit my first at bat, which was huge to kind of get that first one out of the way.
Have you listened to the Cardinals Insider podcast yet? Each week, the show welcomes players, executives, and alumni on the Cardinals Insider podcast. Listen or subscribe wherever you get your podcast or at cardinals.com/podcast. What is Fredbird doing now? It seems that bird is always up to something new during the fourth inning of every home game. Let's take a closer look.
Interesting. Fredbird ironing his uniform in Big Mac land. Download the McDonald's app for medium fries for just $1 after any Cardinals home run. Fredbird doing a little fishing today in Big Mac land.
Has he forgotten all of his animal instincts? Well, that's not how he's supposed to catch a fish.
That's a good point.
Did I tell you about the gift that Fredbird gave me a couple of years back?
No, you didn't tell me.
He sewed me, this reminded me, he sewed me a nice sweater.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Got little Fredbirds on. You know, like the Christmas ones that have reindeer all over? Mm-hmm. It's like that, but with Fredbirds.
What will Fredbird do today? Well, he is vacuuming the cardboard cutouts. He figured, I guess I got to get my chores done. Last night it was the ironing board, and tonight Fredbird is bird watching.
He's a birder. Who'd have thought it?
He's got something new for us every game, and tonight apparently he is back to school, and it looks like he is virtually learning. And yes, that is Fredbird, and yes, I do believe that is
Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Very appropriate.
Fredbird exotic.
He's a genius, isn't he?
That may be his best one yet.
I think so.
Coming up, take a tour of the all-new OneLife Fitness. You want to work out with an incredible view of the stadium? The all-new OneLife Fitness is the perfect place to get a great workout in while watching a Cardinals game. Our Emily Stevens takes us on an inside tour of the new facility.
Welcome into an exclusive tour of one of the newest areas at Ballpark Village. We're at the all-new OneLife Fitness. I'm joined by Brian, the fitness director here at OneLife. Brian, let's start out with just the atmosphere of this gym. I mean, it's right next to the ballpark. How cool is that?
It's absolutely amazing. From my office, I can see the ballpark, so it's great.
All right, let's take a closer look at this place.
For sure, come on.
Now, this is a pretty big gym, so you guys have a lot of room to spread out and social distance.
We've got over 30,000 square feet, so we can definitely social distance quite a few people while they work out. And then we've also implemented sanitation stations all throughout the gym. We've got an AirFX unit, which cleanses over 95% of all microbes throughout the air every 30 minutes. It's pretty awesome. It's used in airports and in hospitals as well. So we're doing as much as we can to make sure everybody stays safe.
So there's 3 group fitness studios here at OneLife. Which studio are we in right now?
Yep, so we're in the Mind and Body studio. That's where classes like yoga, bar, and Pilates are going to be taking place.
How many other different types of classes does OneLife offer?
Yeah, so we offer currently over 20. We're on an abbreviated schedule, but normally we run around 70 to 75 classes.
All right, so now we're in one of the other studios. We're in the cycling studio. What's so cool about these bikes we're on?
Yeah, so these are Coach by Color bikes, ICG7. They actually light up and let you and the coach and the class know how hard you're working. So that way we can kind of motivate and push each other to make sure that we're getting the best results possible. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Ooh, I'm hitting a tornado right now. There it is.
It's turning red. I think that's a good thing.
That means I'm pushing kind of the highest of my heart rate.
You let me know when we can stop, okay?
And done.
All right. So one of the coolest areas at OneLife is this turf area. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we've got over 3,500 square feet of turf, so a lot of room for athletic style training like sled pushes, battle ropes, ball throws. One last one here, Emily. Perfect. Now we're gonna pair that with a little bit of conditioning. So we're gonna come over here to this sled. I want you to grab this up high, and I want you to run as fast as you can all the way to that far wall.
And if you need a mental break or if you want to continue your workout, you can do it out here with an awesome view.
For sure, definitely. We've got 2 outdoor turf areas that have great views. During home games and stuff, we've got the games on the big screen. We've got some concerts going out here, and obviously you can see the fireworks and everything going on while that's happening too. And then after the workout or after the game, you can stop downstairs and check out Sport and Social and get some food. Yeah, so a great way to end the workout is the hydro massage beds here in our recovery room. You can do everything from a full body massage to just taking care of the upper body, the back, the shoulders, or maybe if you hit a really hard leg workout at the end of the day, this can kind of take care of that too.
Well, I know I need this after today, Brian.
For sure.
Thanks again for this exclusive tour of OneLife Fitness. If people want to find out more about memberships, where should they go?
OneLifeFitness.com.
All right, let's go for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up, I answer one of your questions during Ask Ozzy. It's time for this week's Ask Ozzy. Eli from Kansas asks, what's your favorite ballpark snack? Well, my favorite ballpark snack, I guess, like anybody, would be a good old hot dog. Good old beef hot dog has always been one of my favorites. I grew up in Southern California, and I used to catch the bus out to Dodger Stadium, and it was always the thing that I looked forward to was getting a Dodger dog. So a hot dog is probably my favorite snack at the ballpark. Mustard, relish, I like mayonnaise. Thanks for the question, Eli. If you want to submit a question, head on over to cardinals.com/insider and click on the Ask Ozzy tab. We'll be right back. On this week's Ask a Cardinal, we asked the guys which celebrity they would like to meet.
Tiger Woods. I think he's one, just watch him his comeback and watching everything that he's gone through and got back to the top is pretty cool.
Will Ferrell, I guess. Yeah. Will Smith. I'd like to meet Will Smith. That'd be awesome.
Celebrity I'd like to meet. Oh my gosh. Yachty and Wayno.
I think someone like in sports, probably like Tiger Woods or somebody who's really, accomplished and decorated, just kind of pick their brain about what it's like.
Matthew McConaughey. Seems like just the ultimate cool dude, in my opinion. He seems like a nice guy. Seems like he'd be fun to talk to. Always hear him telling stories. Final answer.
That is a good question. I've always thought that Meryl Streep would do an excellent job playing my character in a made-for-TV movie where I would have some type of extremely minor cameo role, but she would play me in a cameo. I know that that's not really how it works. So I think that it would be really important for me to meet her just so we could discuss how my character would approach that situation.
Chris Brown. I think Chris Brown, since I was a kid, I just listen his music. I don't know. I love his music and make me like wake up.
I'd say Derek Jeter. Probably The Rock. I feel like he'd be a really cool guy to meet and kind of talk to and hang out with for a day.
Probably Tom Brady.
Maybe Wayne Gretzky. It's ironic that the greatest hockey player of all time is watching the baseball game that I play, and I've looked up to this guy. Every Canadian looks up to this guy to the maximum, and he's 10 feet right there. So maybe one day we'll see.
That's it for this episode. You can always catch us online at cardinals.com/insider and on YouTube. And we'll see you next week.